Hello and welcome back to another Boat Adventures video. Now, back down on the boat again today. I do try to get down here like once a week while it's in winter storage, just to check things over, make sure we're all together. Probably the best thing to do. Now, today I thought we'd discuss how much does it cost. Now, I keep being asked this by friends, people online, but how much does it cost? So, I've made some notes and I shall go through what this boat costs us. So, on my list here, I've jotted down some topics of the costs that it's going to be for us on this boat for the next coming year. Now, there's so many variables in this topic, from the size of the boat to where you are in the world, etc., 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 how much you use it. All I can tell you is how much it's going to cost us. Now, we try to do this as cheap, well, not cheap, as cheap as we can do it, because we're normal people, we're a normal family, we have normal jobs, we're not multimillionaires or anything like that at all. So this is what it costs us. So the first topic would be, obviously, you've got to buy a boat. Now, obviously, so many variables on that as well: size of the boat, what you want to use your boat for, etc., etc., etc. So something like this, which is an 8 meter boat, 4 berth, there's different brands, but you're going to be in the region. Probably you could probably pick one up between 25,000 and 50,000, something like that. It depends. There's so many variables on that, and you could finance that or you could pay it outright. That's a cost you'll have there. So if you financed it, you'd have a monthly fee going forward. Every month you'd have to pay that out. Obviously, that's how it is. But then the next biggest thing is where you're going to keep it, the mooring. For us, for this boat, we keep it out on the river, so it's not actually within a within a marina. So we keep it out on the river because one is much cheaper. Okay, you don't get all the facilities, but it's very close to where we are and it works well for us. So our mooring out in the river per year is about £1,100. Now, if you went to put it into a walk-on marina, you could be looking round here 3, 4, £5,000 a year, and some places around the world, even more than that. Now, this is all worked out on the length of your boat. Obviously, this is an 8 meter boat. You pay per meter. So the bigger the boat, the bigger the mooring fee is going to be. Obviously, smaller the boat, the cheaper it'll be. And if you manage to have a boat that you can trailer and you've got room to keep it at home, which is what we used to do when we had our rib, then you wouldn't have that cost at all because you would just drive it down, slip it in on the slipway, take it home again when you're finished. So you can save that way as well. All right. So then you've got to have it insured. I think our insurance for this boat is about £500 a year, which is on a par with a car, really, isn't it? So you can shop around. There's all sorts of variables there, but for us, about £500. Now, one of the other big things with boats is they need looking after, and it costs money. So this year we've had some maintenance done on this boat. So we've had things changed in the engine. It's been winterized. It's been, we've had bits and pieces changed. And our bill for that work this year is 3,500. Now, some years you might not have that. You might only have a basic service cost, which could be £500. If you're handy mechanically, you could probably do that yourself as well. But for us on this, 3,500 so far for the year going forward. I'll give you a total in a minute. Okay, one of the costs that we have on this boat is the winter storage. I don't want to leave it out in the river all winter because it will get battered. So we have it taken to this boatyard here. They lift it out, they clean the bottom, and they store it for us. And that's going to be costing for, I think, up to 6 months is about £1,100. So It's up to you whether you do that or not, really. So going forward from that, the only other costs off the top of my head that I can think of is fuel. Now, if you don't go very far, you're not going to use very much fuel. If you use it all the time and you go miles, then you're going to use more fuel. So that's a very difficult topic to talk about as well. I don't know, it's about £1 currently at the minute, £1.60 a litre, something like that for diesel for this boat. So yeah, we probably put in, we don't go very far really, everything's quite close to us here. The Isle of Wight's only 30 minutes away, Poole Harbour's only 30 minutes that way. Mileage wise, they're only 10 miles in either direction. So, a full tank on this boat is probably £300 or £400, and we'd probably be able to do 200 to 300 miles, roughly. Someone will probably tell me different, but that's what works out for us, really. So we don't put masses of fuel in, and that works well. So what also happens as well with boats is things break. So you're going to have bits and pieces that need, like I've got to do. You've got anti-fouling and bits and pieces that need replacing. Now I try to do as much of the work as I can on what I can do. For example, anti-fouling or changing, I don't know, the ladder at the back, which I'm going to do, or a bit of varnish and bits and pieces that I'm going to do. I'm going to do all that myself. So I've only got the cost of the materials. So if we estimated a couple of £100, £300 for bits for that. So going forward from there, for us, for this boat, to keep it and run it for this current year going forward, excluding buying it, because that's been and gone, and that you could divide that down per year. If you kept it for 10 years, then you work out what your cost is there. But boats generally, if you look after it and you keep it serviced and you've got all the paperwork, you can generally sell your boat on without losing much money. So for us, with a little add up here, for the next coming year, for us to keep this boat, it's going to be about, I don't know how much fuel I'm going to use yet, and I don't know any other little unforeseen things that's going to come up. But in this case, we're going to be looking at probably about £6,500 next year, which we're okay. We had almost half that really. But anyway, that's a quick whistle stop video on how much does it cost to go boating. Join me on another one very soon. Click the like and subscribe, and I shall see you very soon. Cheers.